Deep down where I don't know, deep down inside, there's a place so sad, such a sad, sad place. Sometimes it fills up and it fills up and it fills up and overflows in my eyes, and all of me is so sad, such a sad, sad place. George said sometimes my dad doesn't shave and his face is all prickly. The new teacher said, "What does your mother say about that?" And George didn't say anything. Claire said, "His mum don't live with his dad." And the teacher said, "Don't say don't, say doesn't." And Claire said, "I live with my auntie." Far away. I want to tell you about a place I went, far, far away. I sat on the grass with someone there. I sat on the grass with someone who loved me. I've never seen her again. And I don't think I'll ever see that place I went, far, far away. Box. I made a box with a lid and locks, big enough for me to sit in. I took the chance, climbed in and bolted the lid above me. I'd made the walls of my box so that they could move in towards me. The sides and the top could come closer and closer towards me simply by my turning a handle from the inside of my box. Now that I was inside with the lid shut, I turned the handle and the box closed on me. I could feel the bolts in the walls digging into my skin. I could feel my neck being squashed down. I felt like clothes in a suitcase, my arms binding my body up. I stopped still, feeling the feeling of it. Look what I've made for myself. Look what I'm doing. Look at the box. Though you won't see me, I'm on the inside. Walnut in its shell. Headache. It's a lump in your head. It's the blade of a knife in there. It's your veins bursting. It's your skull squeezing your brains. It's a headache. I think it's really bad news they don't put paper in our school loos. If you need paper, you have to ask, right in front of everyone in class. You may think I'm a bit of a fool, but that's why I don't go to school. Logic. A girl said, "I wrote myself a letter." So I said, "What did it say?" And she said, "I don't know, I won't get it till tomorrow." A boy said, "I'm really glad my mum called me Jack." I said, "Why is that?" He said, "Because all the kids at school call me that." Puzzle 1. She said I said he lied, but I said she said he lied. When you said she said I said he lied, he said he didn't lie. Puzzle 2. He was so tempted he couldn't help himself, so he helped himself. Quiet, please. No need to shout, no need to yell, no need to have a riot. Shut your eyes, take a deep breath. Oh, you've gone all quiet. Spots in my eyes. I've got spots in my eyes. Not spots you can see, they're on my side. I see them when I'm looking at you. To start with, I thought it was dirty windows. Then I thought it was little flies in the air, but it isn't. It's spots in the eyes. I'm trying to find out where the spots are in my eyes. If you see me staring at a white wall, trying to make one eye look at the other eye, that's what I'm doing, looking for the spots in my eyes. Actually, I don't know what an eye is. Maybe it's a plastic ball, or it's a kind of little round fish tank, glass outside, water inside, and the spots are floating around in the fish tank of my eye. I wish I could get rid of them. When people look up at the sky and say, "Look at that, not a cloud in sight," I look up too. And there's all that blue sky, and there, floating across that blue, are the spots. telly, put your thumb in the air, your finger over there. Look for your other thumb. You'll probably find it on the other hand. Put that thumb on the end of your finger. Put that finger on the end of your thumb. You've got a telly now. What program shall I put on the telly? I know. That program's called What's This Ear? Put your cheek on the telly. That program's called Don't Be Cheeky. Put your nose on the telly. That'll make a good program. And that program's called The 6 o'clock Nose. Toenails. More and more people in Britain today are using toenails. Smart and smooth, they grow on all 5 toes of each foot. We spoke to Jack Davis of Hackney. Yeah, I like toenails. I've got 10 of them. Big ones for the big toes and little ones for the little toes. They're great. Be like Jack. Be smart. Grow toenails. Useless information. I read in a book that giraffes have no voices. The Red Sea is blue. Gorillas can't swim. Black treacle is brown. Elephants can't jump. And nothing rhymes with orange. Does it?
Something changes. When you're born, your folks think you're amazing. They scream, "It's a baby! Quick, quick, quick! Come and have a look! It's a baby!" Then a few weeks later, maybe you lift your head up a tiny, tiny little bit. And they scream, "Look! The head! Quick, quick, quick! Come and have a look! It's amazing!" Now, I don't want to say anything to disappoint you. But something changes. Wind forward a few years. You get back from school. You open the door. You chuck your bag on the floor. You walk into the living room, slump down on the sofa. And you switch on the TV. Your folks don't say, "Look, he switched on the TV. First he dumped his bag, and now he switched on the TV. Quick, 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 come and have a look." For some reason, they're just not as excited about every little thing you do. They said, I say. Whenever my mother left the house, she'd say, "Where's my hat? I'm going." I didn't understand. "But you haven't got a hat," I'd say. Whenever I had wrinkles in my socks, my mother would say, "Take the bagels out of your socks." I didn't understand. I'd say, "I haven't got any bagels in my socks." Whenever we sang in school, "There is a green hill far away, without a city wall," I didn't understand. I'd say, "Green hills don't have city walls." Whenever our history teacher lost her temper, she'd say, "Great Scott, you're for the high jump." I didn't understand. Who was Scott? Why was he great? And why did we have to do the high jump? As we leave for nursery school in the morning, I say to my 4-year-old daughter, "Where's my hat? I'm going." And she says, "But you haven't got a hat." I look at her socks and say, "Take the bagels out of your socks." And she says, "I haven't got any bagels in my socks." Along the way I sing, "There is a green hill far away, without a city wall." And she says, "Why has the green hill got a city wall?" And when I say goodbye to her, I say, "Great Scott, you're for the high jump." And she says, "No, I'm not." Where broccoli comes from. Not many people know that broccoli grows in the armpits of very big green men who live in the forest. And brave broccoli cutters go deep into the forests, and they creep up on the very big green men. They wait for the very big green men to fall asleep, and the broccoli cutters get out their great big broccoli razors and they shave the armpits of the very big green men. And that's where broccoli comes from. Not many people know that. Just thought I'd let you know. Orange. Help! I'm stuck in an orange. I can't get out. It's really orange in here. And wet. This poem comes from Jelly Boots, Smelly Boots with Wonderful Pictures by David Tasman, published by Bloomsbury. Words. Words are presents that we give to each other. You to your sister, me to my brother, your friends to you, you to your friends, on and on and on. See? It never ends. This poem comes from Jelly Boots, Smelly Boots with Wonderful Pictures by David Tasman, published by Bloomsbury. Question mark. Our teacher said, "This is a question mark. Where are you going to put it?" We all had good ideas. In the red drawer, in my pocket, in my yellow pencil case, on top of the cupboard. Our teacher said, "No, we put a question mark at the end of a question. So now I want you to think of a question and put a question mark at the end of it." I said, "Can I go to the toilet?" "Correct," said our teacher. "No," I said, "I really do want to go to the toilet." This poem comes from Jelly Boots, Smelly Boots with Wonderful Pictures by David Tasman, published by Bloomsbury. Warning. I went to the shirt shop and asked for a t-shirt. They said, "We don't do t-shirts, we only do coffee shirts." "OK," I said, "I'll have a coffee shirt." I took my coffee shirt home, went into my bedroom and put it on. I started coughing. I couldn't stop coughing. Cough, 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 cough. I'm not getting a coffee shirt again. This poem comes from Jelly Boots, Smelly Boots with Wonderful Pictures by David Tasman, published by Bloomsbury. Dr. Spooner. Dr. Spooner was a teacher at Oxford University, but he muddled up the first letters in what he was saying. So instead of saying, "That's a well-oiled bicycle," he said, "That's a well-boiled icicle." One day he was angry that one of the students had been doing nothing for most of the year. He said, "Mr. Jarvis, you've tasted 2 whole worms." Don't drown. Don't drown. Practice swimming for a long, long time. Don't drown. Practice shouting help. Don't drown. Keep the water out. Don't drown. Call for help. Don't drown. If you see the water rising, leave. Don't drown. If you think you're sinking, grab something. Don't drown. If you think there's no way out, you're probably wrong and there is a way out. Find it. Don't drown. If you think you're stuck, probably you're not. Don't drown. If you think you can't go on, probably you can. Don't drown. There was this little boy, he couldn't face going to school. His mum and dad went to work, and he secretly stayed at home. He rang the school and put on a very deep voice and said, "I'm very sorry, but Alfie won't be at school today." "Oh, yes," said the school secretary, "and who's speaking?" "My dad," said Alfie. I know a couple whose child didn't talk. Of course, he didn't talk when he was just born, but he didn't start talking when most children start. When he was 3, he still hadn't said a word. Same at 4. Then one day, the family was sitting round the table having their lunch, and the little boy looked up, shook his head and said, "No, too salty." Everyone looked at him. "That's amazing," his mum said. That's amazing, but why didn't you talk before? And the little boy said, well, the food's been fine up until now. I know someone who can take a mouthful of custard and blow it down their nose. I know someone who can make their ears wiggle. I know someone who can shake their cheeks so it sounds like ducks quacking. I know someone who can throw peanuts in the air and catch them in their mouth. I know someone who can balance a pile of 12 2p pieces on his elbow and snatch his elbow from under them and catch them. I know someone, and she can bend her thumb back to touch her wrist. I know someone who can crack his nose. I know someone who can say the alphabet backwards. I know someone who can put their hands in their armpits and blow raspberries. I know someone, and she can wiggle her little toe. I know someone who can lick the bottom of her chin. And I know someone else, who can slide their top lip one way and their bottom lip the other way, and that someone is me. If your computer laughs when the clown gets hit by custard pies, if it can't stop itself from telling lies, if it says it wants to be your friend, if it likes stories but cries at the end, if it makes mistakes but carries on and then suddenly says, "Why did I go wrong?" If it says, "Don't leave me behind," if it makes plans but changes its mind, it's not a computer. It was the insects. It was the Insects versus Little Beasties Cup final. An incredibly exciting match. Insects were winning 2-0 right up to the last 5 minutes. Then Little Beasties took off Snail and brought on Centipede. It made a fantastic difference. Centipede scored 3 times in the last few minutes of the game, and Little Beasties won the cup. After the match, the players were sitting around having their after-match meal, and the captain of Insects, that was B, said to Woodlouse, captain of Little Beasties, "How come you left it so late to bring on Centipede?" "Ha, yeah, he was putting on his boots." The messenger. Beware the messenger. He tells you bad news to make himself feel less bad. Beware the messenger. He tells you sad news to make himself feel less sad. When he talks of things being confused, for him it makes things clear. So that he'll be less afraid, he says he's full of fear. If you could tell him his words made you feel bad or sad or afraid or confused, he'll say what he's doing is just bringing the news. The newborn child. This is the newborn child. This is the child just come into the world. Was it born in a hotel suite? Was it born on the ground and left there as its parents ran from guns and bombs? What shall we do with the newborn child? What shall we make it? A boy or a girl? Shall the child live in the city with the sound of trains, trams, buses and cars? Shall the child live in the country with the sound of tractors, dogs and chainsaws? Shall the child live up a mountain or on a beach? Shall the child live in a house, an apartment, a tent or a hut? Shall the child live with a mother who hasn't eaten for 3 months? Shall the child live where there's a bath on every floor? Shall the child drink dirty water every day? Shall the child live? You choose. This is the newborn child. What kind of child is this child?
Salty wave. When I went through the wave, I gobbled a great gulpful of salt water. Ah! That night, in bed, my hand, nestling on my neck, found tiny crusts, white grains, and when I licked my fingertip, it was as salty as a crisp or a wave. Today, one day. Today, the rain has died, my shoes have died, the sun has died, my coat has died, the earth has died today. One day, the rain will flower, my shoes will laugh, the sun will sing, my coat will fly, the earth will dance one day. This woman went to the doctor's. This woman went to the doctor's and she said, "Doctor, my family, we keep thinking we're all sorts of different things." "Like what?" said the doctor. "Sometimes I feel like a cat." "When did you start feeling like this?" said the doctor. "Well, when I was a kitten," she said. "Oh, yes," said the doctor. "Anything else?" "Well, my husband," she said. "He thinks he's a bell." "Ah," said the doctor. "Tell him to give me a ring." "Anyone else?" "Yes," said the woman. "My little boy, he thinks he's a chicken." "Why didn't you tell me this before?" said the doctor. "We needed the eggs," said the woman. "Any other problems?" said the doctor. "Yes, I keep forgetting things." "What did you say?" said the doctor. "I don't know," said the woman. "I've forgotten."